Hi, I'm Becky from Dot to Dot Studio.
And I'm Sarah from It's So Kitoko.
Thank you for tuning back into our little vlog. Following on from our last chat, Sarah was making a Charlie caftan, and I believe you started it now, haven't you?
I've started it, so I've cut out all the fabric, laid it all out. I bought the recommended amount of fabric, and as I was getting sort of near the end of laying it all out, I realised that I had some spare. So I've actually managed to cut out a small top as well, so which I've started, so I'm going to ask you a bit of a question on that later.
Okay.
But I just think that maybe we need to get talking about beach cover-ups.
So this is the Charlie caftan, in case you haven't seen it before, which is by Closet Core. And actually, someone's just made it up this week as well in a viscose crepe, and it looks incredible. It is firmly at the top of my to-sew list now. I don't know which fabric I'm going to use, but Emma's made it up. Emma, who works here, she's made it up in the most amazing. It's like a viscose crepe with big pampas grass on. Not from here, but it's just beautiful. And it's,
that's amazing.
Perfect, wafting about to the beach.
And Megan's making it as well, isn't she, on my lessons? So
yeah,
Megan's
she is.
making
Yeah,
it. So that's three of us making it now.
I know loads of people who've made it.
Four of you making it. Yeah.
I know loads of people who've made it, and I've always been tempted. But having seen it in that fabric, so something particularly drapey, it works amazingly well.
Oh.
Whereas other fabrics that are a little bit stiffer, I think it becomes a bit bulky around the shoulders.
Yes,
so the droopier and drapier the fabric, the more flattering, I think, on the form.
And one thing I noticed on the pattern, I don't know if you can see on here, but there's two versions of how the sleeves come. So if you were wearing it as a beach cover-up, you can have the depth of the sleeve be much greater on the pattern when it comes to
larger armholes.
much like, thank you. I know what I meant. Larger armholes here. But you also have the choice, how it's really cleverly printed, you have the choice to be able to come up further and actually make it the slightly smaller armholes. So if you want it to be more of a dress style caftan, you wouldn't have to worry about sort of like bikini or bra side showing. So I've actually made the full version, but I've made it with the smaller armholes so that it's more of a dress for me, because I wanted it to be able to be used.
I guess if you're like running around on the school run, kind of like throw it on just on a weekday, that's really practical. Maybe it'd look lovely in a linen actually as well.
But I think
wafting.
Wafting. I think it needs the bigger armhole. So it was just but it was just interesting that you can make it with both so easily. It wasn't you don't sort of have to pick one bit or another. It was really clearly marked out. I thought that was just worth.
Well, having seen the one that Emma's making this week, I picked out a few fabrics which have got a similar drape and weight to them, which I think would look incredible. So depending on the style of fabric, the kind of colours you like, there's not a lot of this one left, but I think that would be stunning.
That's really pretty.
Especially with the tan.
Yes.
And you can see the movement of that fabric and how nicely that would drape and not add volume to the body. That would just be really lovely. Like I say, not sure how much there is left of that, so if you wanted any, you'd need to be quick. But it's a viscose Marrakein weave, which means it's got that crepey, slightly textured weave, which actually gives it a crease resistance, which not all viscoses are crease resistant. They can crumple up quite easily, but with the crepe, especially if it's going to get wet and go over a bikini that's a bit soggy, that would recover really well, and I think it just hangs really beautifully. This one has only just come in actually. Probably more sort of English country garden than sort of beach in Miami, but again has that really beautiful drape, so it depends on your style.
That would be lovely in that slightly shorter version, wouldn't it? That would just look like
this would make
really
it up
pretty.
The long version, more as a kind of walk around the garden, English country garden with big sun hat and glass pins.
Very nice. Very nice.
Not to be sniffed at. And then if you want to go proper, like tropical, this one, I don't think you can beat this one. This isn't actually a crepe weave, but it has a texture to it. If I had to describe it, I'd say it's like a bird's eye weave, but I'm not sure anyone would know what I was talking about, and I'm not even sure that's accurate, but that's how I would describe it.
Yeah, it's got a nice feel, hasn't it?
It's really nice, and all of these, because of the weave of them, they feel cool to touch, which I think is really important in the summer.
Actually, what you can't see so much on this one is there's actually a fair bit of some blue in here.
Yes,
as well,
yeah,
just where it was, there's some nice little spots of blue coming through.
I'll try and show you the weave on this one, but if you did want to have a look at the pictures on our website, I do get some quite close-up photographs, so you might be able to see, but I'm not sure if I can hold this without shaking. Anyway, that I think would be stunning as a beach cover-up.
That's really
But, so those will all be lovely as a Charlie caftan. I've also thought these, which are particularly lightweight, so not as drapey, but because they're so light, they would just waft. These fabrics as well, which I'm now going completely off course. Those were all viscoses. This one's actually a cotton, and it's so fine I wouldn't even call it lawn. It's somewhere between a lawn and a voile. Isn't that gorgeous?
Yeah, it's
Doesn't that just say summer holidays?
Yes, that is. That's really nice. You can get an idea. You can see.
Yeah.
You can get a sort of an idea of your shape underneath. But yeah, being on the beach and just wearing that over a bikini would be absolutely lovely.
So we've picked out a few other patterns, haven't we?
Yeah, we have. So I think we came up with the idea. If you were wanted sort of like a robe, sort of like out by the paddling pool or anything like that, or anything that might be able to be just a bit easier to put on with a tie on the side. We came up with, there was the named, is it
Which no one knows how to say this. I think it's larger.
Larger. So the named larger pattern. I've actually made this for a friend as a...
Oh, it's beautiful.
As a sort of like garden wafting robe. She's incredibly lucky and has a swimming pool at home. So I made it for her so that she could lounge around in it. And I made it in like a beautiful silk.
I've just come back from, very fortunately, a 24-hour, what feels like a whole week away, but a 24-hour spa break for a hen do, and I've never been anywhere where they have gowns before, but they had those toweling robes, which are lovely, but actually I just feel they're a bit too hot. Yeah. So if you have a robe at home, this kind of thing, but made out of a lighter viscose, or even the cotton double gauze.
Yes, actually we've got some double gauzes here, so yes, this is what we thought might be really nice.
Because they're absorbent.
Yes.
Which is why they're so good for things like baby dribble bibs and just children's clothes. But that would be so lovely as a beach cover-up.
That is really,
so
really nice. Yeah, and actually, if you had a really nice cover-up on that, you could pretty much get away without having to lug a towel all the way to the beach as well. You could literally, you could just take that and wear
and
that.
And it'll dry out really fast.
We've got another 2 colours in, there's loads and loads of colours on the website, or like loads and loads of patterns. But this one, I particularly love. This one's clearly, this is right up my street.com.
Absolutely, this is beautiful.
This is absolutely
This is
lovely.
a digital print, which means that actually when you first get the fabric, it's slightly smoother. So people say, oh, this one isn't a double gauze, it's not crinkly. When they've been digitally printed, I don't know why, they are particularly smooth compared to the ones which have got a surface print on them, which is actually ink, like like more like a screen print. Okay. So that's why this one looks crinklier than that one. When this is washed, it will actually come up more crinkly.
Yes, that'll take up the crinkle. That is really, really pretty. I really, really like that one. And then there was one other that we thought would be particularly beautiful for like this. It's just the lovely colours. These are all just like colours of the sea and the sand.
Look great with a tan.
Yeah, absolutely. So I thought that was really, really pretty as well.
I'm
working on mine. So they were double gauzes, and we thought that they'd be really nice. There was another one. There was another pattern. That was just this one here.
Yeah, so we loved the larger as a pattern for like a sort of informal robe, which you could either have as a dressing gown or as a kind of beachside robe. This one, which isn't actually a robe, but just look at that dress. I actually love all 3 of the patterns on this.
Really nice.
Which this is also on my sort of to-do list. And that one, that sort of Japanese style boxy jacket, for something else I think would be beautiful. But I think that as an easy wrap dress, and I love a big pocket. You've got to have a big pocket. So those 2 are really lovely. And then those are a bit more shirty. That's more. This is a wrap dress, but I feel like also because it's got the big pockets, this would be really practical as a kind of cover up as well. So this is the Elodie dress by Closet Core Patterns, and this one says it needs to be made of elegantly, loosely drapey wovens like silk, viscose and rayon. So all the fabrics we've mentioned would work for this as well. Yeah. But I've got one fabric which I just think,
embroidery in.
This is so special. This fabric.
Oh, we're talking about robes.
If this was my colours, I would already own a garment in this. I just think that's absolutely beautiful.
It's all embroidered. Absolutely beautiful.
I can't remember what I've called this on the website. I think I might have called it Pink Mimosa. But if you search embroidered, you'll find this. Also, there'll be a link below. Link below! But that, I think, would make a gorgeous maxi dress, beach cover-up, shirt dress, glamorous robe. It would probably... I was going to say like luxury pyjamas, but actually I don't think you'd want to sleep with the embroidery.
Do you know what as well? Well, I think that would be really beautiful as is, you know, when you just when you're on the beach and you've got like a beautiful triangle, you know, like a short, and you tie it and you just literally just have it as a waist, a sarong.
Yeah, just a sarong.
But even a sarong that's, you know, like cut on a massive, great big sort of like triangle.
Oh, that's,
you know, and then you just tie that around so it just drapes. And
that reminds me, there's been often times in my life when I've just loved a piece of fabric and just gone, I don't know what I need, I don't know what I'd wear, I don't know what I'd make.
Yes.
So I have to have it, and I usually buy enough for a square, and then I just wear it as a scarf.
Yes.
So sometimes I've just overlocked off the edges or just rolled the edges.
Rolled hem.
And yeah, I've got loads of them. Sometimes it's jersey, sometimes it's a viscose, or sometimes I just love the print. And I've got a whole collection of bits of fabric I couldn't live without that are too nice not to just wear. Yeah. So I've just draped them about my person and gone about my day. This again, if this was my colours,
that would have,
Anyway, I hope somebody makes this and shows me what they've made, because I would love to see this made up. It's a glamorous. Oh my God, what about bridesmaids dresses in this? If anyone's looking for things for a wedding, this would be stunning.
Oh, talking about things you've made up. Yeah. You were talking about your shirt that you made out of some of the viscose last week.
Yes, we were talking about a bird fabric.
That's bird fabric, and you bought it in. I spied it over there. I can see it. And I just, you were saying that, you know, that you thought it had faded, but I don't think it has.
I can't even see the fabric. I don't know what I've done with the fabric, but this is my Callie, my much worn Callie. I will go and look for the fabric, because actually I'd love to be able to see if it has faded.
No worries at all. Well, while Becky's just going off and having a quick look for the fabric over there, as you know, I spoke last time about making the Callie, no, not the Callie, it was the Charlie caftan. And I bought this fabric, and that's the one I've got cut out at home, literally ready to go. But I actually had so much of the fabric left over that I was able to make another top. So this is actually the drop sleeves. This is the Avid Seamstress drop sleeve top, and I just, again, haven't put the sleeves on it. But I decided this time I didn't want to do French seams, so I thought, okay, I'm going to overlock my seams on here, and then I actually stitched them down, and it's given the top just a completely different feel. It's made it feel so much more luxurious, and I don't really know why.
It's just smooth,
it's just totally smooth, and I've done it down the back seam, and I've done it all the way up the seams and under the arm.
Perfect if you're allergic to ironing.
Well,
I don't iron anything.
Because my other drop sleeve tops, remember me telling you, because it just drove me mad, because I had to, you know, separate everything. And this way, there's going to be hardly any pressing. But I do have a question for you.
Okay.
I have finished I've hemmed the sleeves and the bottom by putting an overlock around the edge, and I folded it once, and then I've folded it again, and I've stitched that down. I'm not a fan of facings. I think I mentioned this before. I don't like facings at all, because they just always get in the way. I love a label, so I want to have a something that will basically be able to take that. Do you think I should just fold this the same as I've done and basically do a hem? Or I have actually got still a considerable amount of this.
I'm not keen on that. I just feel like it stretches it out of shape. Sometimes you see even really high-end garments turned like that.
Yes.
I just feel that a little bit of a more substantial finish just is more long,
better.
Is
so
make some bias binding. Really quite a narrow bias binding. Attach it on the outside first, stitch in the groove, and then fold it to the inside. I'd actually understitch it as well, and then top stitch it.
Okay.
In fact, I think I might even. Yes, I did that on the hem of this. So because this is a curved hem on the Callie, I've added a bias. In fact, it's silk, darling. I didn't have enough of the fabric left from the piece I cut myself.
So I thought I'd use some silk.
So I just had a bit of this. In fact, this was left over from making piping for some pyjamas that I made. So I had a little bit of this already on the bias, and I've got it out of I keep everything like that in a jar. So I
Becky keeps everything, let me tell you.
Yeah.
Every scrap of everything, everything.
So that's been attached as a bias facing. So I've stitched it on. I've understitched it really close to the edge there, and then I've top stitched it from the inside, which isn't technically top stitching, but I've top stitched it really close to the edge to give a really sharp finish. That's how I finish the neck. It's perfect for going around corners, and I don't know if I've ever said this before. I've certainly mentioned it in classes. So if you are taking a piece of bias binding around a really sharp curve, or any curve actually, press it into the shape you want it to be before you stitch it onto the garment, so much more compliant. So something like this shirt, where it actually has to go around really sharp curves, but I've pressed this into shape into those curved shapes before I've started, and it just sits really nicely. Because you know sometimes how it just kicks out at the bottom?
Oh, what was it that I was making? But you did it with me, and we spent the dress I self-drafted.
Yes,
I self-drafted dress.
and I
And we
said
did it, and you said, could you
curve it
curve
first.
it all to go under the
Yeah.
arm so that, and it did. It was amazing because it just
The
didn't
time
pucker
when
at all.
you notice it the most is the smaller the garment or the sharper the curve. So if you're working on, say, children's wear, and people often want to make babies, new babies, they want to make them clothes, and it's like, oh, they wear those little rompery things with the tabs. They are like the hardest thing to make because you've got to get your bias binding into the tightest curves. And it's often things people start sewing and go, I want to make baby clothes. And I'm like, don't start with one of those. They're too difficult. It's too difficult. But I digress again.
But
obviously.
It's up
Yes,
to
I
we're
would
going
put
to.
a bias
So make
binding
some
on
bias
here
binding
and use
pop
it as a
on,
facing.
and then I'll be able to put my
Exactly,
label
and then you catch
in
your label in before you do your final
before I
row
do
of
my
stitching.
final row.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
No,
it gives
that
you
sounds
loads
grand.
of time to. I think we did talk about this last time actually, because I did it on my vest top that I was wearing last time, the bias cut one. But yeah,
Yes.
then that's how I would finish that
Yeah,
neckline.
so finish it. Well, hence why I thought you might tell me that. I was really wanted to just do it really quickly and fold it over, and I thought,
You'll regret
if
it.
I come in and I tell Becky, look at my top, she'll be like, you didn't bias bind that. So I just thought I'd chance my luck and see if you might say do it that way. But no, okay, home to do more bias binding. But well, I'll tell you what, I'll wear this for us next video.
Next time.
So
Yeah.
I'll wear this next time. So,
You've made the shirt you're wearing, which I recognise that
did.
fabric, and that's
Yes.
what you made for Safari, wasn't it?
It is. I made this for Safari. Now, okay, these have to be the most beautiful fabrics. So
They're very, very
So
blue.
since making this top for my Safari, so by the way, this is the classic shirt. So it's Liesl & Co, and this is the classic shirt that I made. I didn't put pockets on it because I didn't want pockets, so I didn't put them on. But it was quite a nice make to do. It took a bit of time, making everything
I like
really
the
nice.
shirt.
But
I like the
it's-
precision.
yes.
I love doing like the tight little corners and the precision of a placket. When it goes right,
It's lovely. I
Yeah.
actually really enjoyed doing it as well. I wasn't quite sure if I would, but it's surprising how doing like really intricate bits, because they're actually achievable. I think sometimes when you do intricate bits and I find it too, and everything's really difficult, but actually they were easy. There was just lots of very precise
it's
sewing
almost
to
like
do.
there's a right and a wrong way with shirt making, where sometimes you can kind of fudge it and do it other ways. With shirt making, I feel like certainly I've honed a certain way of doing things. That's it. That's how I make shirts.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of deviation now. Whereas other things, I'm still a bit more experimental. Shirts, I tend to make things in a particular, using particular techniques, which one day maybe we'll do a tutorial on. One day.
Yeah. Oh,
when we've learned how to edit.
We'll do a tutorial where you can talk about things, how you do them, and how I do them with gadgets, because I did all the collars. So I did the collar, no, not the collar. I did the cuffs using a little gadget that I bought. I can't. So I did it all up. I don't know if I can.
Did you do that with a gadget?
Yeah. Yes, I did.
Did you?
Yes, I did it. I did it all with a
I
gadget.
did that the old school way.
Yeah, I know.
With the ironing board and an iron.
I was just like, but one of these days, we always have a bit of a joke, because I like every gadget that's on the market. I'm a marketer's dream, and I buy everything if I think it can save time.
I'm about as low tech as you can get.
Becky's the complete opposite. She says, and so we thought one day actually we'd have a little bit of a race, but not just who can do it the quickest. What's the best fit? So one could be quicker, but so in other words, what's quicker and what's best finish?
Yeah.
So I thought, we could give that a go. Bearing in mind, probably the best finish is the one that's going to come from Becky, because I was just like, well, maybe we'll have to do it on speed. I doubt I'm ever going to quite be able to beat you when it comes to finish. But we can all dream. But yes, so this is really, really nice fabric. And what
This is the one you just made, isn't it?
This goes with
the top and the
so I've
Charlie
made
caftan.
it in the top. Yeah, so that's the.
This is a linen viscose mix with a lightly foiled design, which I think I might have done this with last time.
Yeah, I said we did. Yeah, we looked at this.
I think this would make a really beautiful, strappy, really fine strappy dress.
Yes. that could be really nice. And then this one's also got some of the foil on it, so this is a slightly different.
Just catches the light.
Yeah, it just sort of
shimmers
catches
in
the
the
light.
light.
So that's the sort of the two. It's all the same. It's the same.
They're all the same
totally
substrate,
the same
and then
fabric.
they've got different prints on top of them.
But I can tell you, this is extremely cool to wear. I
Is it?
wore this on my horse riding safari that I did. We were out in the saddle for 3-4 hours in 30 to 35 degree heat. And it was, I mean, I was roasting hot, but not because of my top.
Yeah.
Do you see what I mean? So of course the weather was boiling. If anything, actually, it stopped all the sun being on me.
Yes,
it kept me
exactly.
really, really cool,
Yeah.
and it was lovely, and it felt
non-sweaty
really nice.
as
I was
well,
saying,
really importantly.
completely non-sweaty. So, and then the two fabrics that, so these don't have any foiling on. So although this is the same, that's why I went for the Charlie caftan in this, because I knew it wouldn't be hot.
Yeah.
I knew it would be ideal for my next safari that I'm now saving for, because I can't not go back. It was amazing.
Yeah.
So this is the shirt fabric that I am wearing. This one's it's just got little birds all over it. Me and my love of birds, I couldn't wait to get hold of this fabric. And then there's also one with some camels on it. A couple of palm
Technically,
trees.
they're dromedaries.
They're what?
Dromedaries. They've got one hump.
Oh,
I didn't know this until I went in the Sahara Desert
No.
and went on a
What?
ride through the desert on the back of a dromedary.
well,
I think that's a dromedary.
in that case, so next time I find myself in Abu Dhabi,
Yeah, actually,
Or
no,
Dubai,
actually, I think on the
I
website it might
is.
say camels because I think it might confuse people.
because I don't think I would have known what to have under there. But
We were
again,
on
it's just
holiday
that beautiful feel.
sorry, this is another little story digression. We were on holiday in Morocco and it was so cold. We'd gone out to the Sahara Desert and we'd ridden our dromedaries out into the desert and they were set up camp. And we were all sat around the campfire and suddenly there was this like weird noise and they have really, really soft pillowy feet.
Yes.
And one of the dromedaries had got loose and it was running rings around the campfire and there were these three guys in jellies like running after it trying to catch it. It was just
I would have
so
loved to have
surreal.
been there
It
then.
was
That was
so
just like,
surreal.
oh.
So surreal.
I always like to try and do something to help. I'm kind of like, oh, I'll help. I'm sure half the time I hinder, but but at least I'm willing.
Anyway, so
I'll try.
those are four linen and viscose mixed fabrics, which Sarah says are very cool to wear. So, well,
They're probably not really your colour tones, are
They're
they?
not, and
Unfortunately.
I love them,
It's
and I
such a
get-
shame because they are.
I buy these
They
in for
feel-
people like
they
you,
just
but I can't
feel
get
beautiful.
excited about them on me. I just can't.
It's so weird, isn't it? Because these excite me so
I
much.
know.
And
I'm
it's
excited
like-
from afar, but I hold up and go.
So, but yes, so that's those as fabrics there.
What else do we have to talk to you about? Oh, I think I wanted to talk to you about something else on this.
Yeah, so you're going to
So-
compare the fabric. That's it.
yeah,
You got
that's
to get
right.
it. And we didn't get around
So
to it.
this is my shirt, which I made up maybe 5 years ago.
Wow.
I've made this quite a long time ago, and the fabric's been really popular, so I bought it in again. But I'm pretty certain this is exactly the colour it was when I first bought it in. And you can see, actually, considering how much I've worn it, it has a love-worn
It's got
look,
that up.
definitely love-worn look.
Yeah.
But it's
Do you know,
actually
it's-
weathered quite well.
It's gone slightly
It's
denim-ish.
it's not, yeah,
do you
it's
know
like
what I mean? It's
softer.
sort of like,
I tend to
yeah.
wear this with denim, or I've got
Yeah.
some dungarees and a baby cord that I've made, which are like teal,
Yeah.
and this actually looks really nice inside,
Yeah.
inside dungarees. But can I just tell you something I discovered with this shirt? So the Cali I've made up a few times. This is the high-low version, which is like sort of thigh length at the front and then longer at the back. I've also made it up in a fabric which sadly we don't have in stock anymore. That's the cropped version, and I tend to wear that with high-waisted jeans, and I love that. But this particular length is perfect for a wild wee.
Ah.
So if you're going on a picnic and you need to go for a little wee in the bush, this is the perfect top because it covers your bottom.
Well, there you go.
So there we go.
Or a wild wee in the dunes.
In the dunes, yes, perfect
you're
for a wild
all
wee when you're
sorted.
out. But I think that over swimming costume would be lovely actually.
That's
Just
really
a pop
nice.
over.
Yeah, actually,
You can
just to give you that little bit more, coverage where
bit
you
more
really
coverage there. It covers your
Fun.
shoulders so that you save on having to put loads of suntan lotion on. And also the benefit of having a collar is you can flick it up and just keep the back of your neck out of the sun.
Yeah.
So I intend to make this in a very lightweight linen just to go with the bikini that I have, which clearly I know I must need to make something to go with this bikini.
Oh.
The irony is that when you put this on you can't see the bikini anymore, but I still have it in my mind. It's on the list
It's on there.
amongst many other things. So those are my Callies, and I've already cut out. I think I've got 2 more cut out.
Yeah.
One of which I'm doing crazy amounts of hand embroidery, which is why no one's ever seen it. and it's in a box somewhere with all the stuff we've moved house with.
So
But what else have we got here to
and then
talk about?
the only other thing that I wanted to talk about, and I spotted some fabric earlier on, and it's some lovely cotton that Becky's
Ooh,
got,
yes.
and it's got little embroidered bits of fruit on it.
This is
that
very
the best way to
summery,
say it?
yes,
So,
it's-
and it's just summery. So I just said we can't talk about summer fabrics
I know.
and not get this out.
This would actually, it would work as a beach cover up as well, especially
Yes.
something like the Cali, or actually the larger gown as well, something
Yes,
more of a wrap or more,
bit more structured.
yeah, a little bit more structured. This is the watermelon print, no, not print, embroidery, and they're nicely spaced out, but I just think that they pop.
Yeah.
They pop out so nicely. But it's a crisp cotton. It's actually a plain weave cotton, but it's similar weight to a poplin, slightly lighter than a poplin. And I think this would also make really beautiful pyjamas. So that's the what's the word? Watermelon.
Yep.
This one is my personal favourite. Is the cherries. I think that's really sweet. It would also make lovely children's wear.
It
It
really would.
really
Yeah.
sweet. And the other kind of thing it would make really nicely are those, those off the shoulder tops that are quite voluminous,
Yes,
with ruffles,
yes.
and maybe that wide elastic that goes around there. You could put it in a channel.
Yes.
That would work really nicely in this as either a dress, which actually that would work as a beach cover up. I haven't got any patterns like that. I'm inventing one in my head. And then there's also the pineapples, which have got really sweet detail on them. The little cross-hatching stitch over the top as well. I just think all of those, it's subtle.
Yes.
The other thing they'd make nicely is actually a man's shirt if you want something a little bit different.
Yeah, a bit different and a little
Because they're
bit more
quite,
summery.
it's classic, but with a
Yes.
little twist.
So that's really nice. It's a real pop of colour, isn't it?
Yeah.
Without being too much at all.
Oh, that with a pair of cherry earrings. Some red shoes, maybe a nice
Nice.
red
Oh,
belt,
Yeah, you're
red
yes.
lipstick, red.
Red. So you're loving it now. It's
I know,
it's got
sorry,
into, it's
getting
got
into
into
that.
Becky colour zone tone. So
Right, I think I've
So
talked
that's
about all those
grand.
fabrics.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you another question, because you always look really immaculate, and I can presume that you actually do iron your clothes.
I tumble dry everything that I can.
Okay.
So if it's tumble dryable, it goes in the tumbler, but not right from the washing machine.
Okay.
So I dry most things on the line until they're just a bit damp. So sort of leave them out till the evening, so that they've got that sort of little bit
Just
of damp.
that
They've got that
almost
little bit
when
of
the dew
dampness.
starts to
Yeah,
come
exactly.
down,
Yeah.
yeah.
So they've got that, and I pop them in the tumble dryer for 20 minutes, and then pretty much put everything away then.
Okay.
But I do have to admit that before whatever I decide to wear on the day, if it's something like this, I will press it.
Okay.
So you know what I mean? So I will press it. But I have to admit, lots of stuff I wear is jersey and tight
Yeah.
fitting, because I just love
And
just
the
cut
creases
pullers
just
up
go.
on, and then you just don't
Yeah.
need it again. Straight out the tumbler.
Mm.
I will only tumble anything that I have made if I've already washed and tumbled the fabric before I made it.
Okay.
So I would never ever risk tumbling something that hasn't already been through when it was just the fabric
Yeah.
off of the roll.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm way too chicken to do that.
Yeah, no.
So no, I wouldn't do that. But yeah,
I-
so
Don't iron things ever, but I do, if I'm desperate, use a pair of hair straighteners on a collar.
I heard you say that the other day. That's such a genius idea.
What I do, which I think actually, because that has not been ironed, and
That's what I mean. But
I would just wear
I wouldn't
that.
iron that. No, but I wouldn't iron that if it looked like that when it came out. I'm talking about clothes that really crumple.
yeah,
I'll iron. I'm not going to iron it if it doesn't need ironing. No
I think if
way.
you hang things up when they're
Yes.
So what I tend to do, especially with my husband's shirts, because like I say, we don't have an iron in our house, which is ridiculous, but we don't have space for an ironing board. I tend to do up the top button so that it hangs properly from the placket. Give it a really good shake when it's still damp, and then just hang it up when it's wet.
And dry it on the
And
hangers.
just dry it up on a hanger. So
Yes.
sometimes you have to pick the right size hanger, otherwise you get really bad
yes.
indentations.
Yeah.
Or you have to pick a hanger that is so wide that it completely comes off the edge like that,
Yes,
and
and
so
then-
doesn't leave a bump. But that's all I ever do with mine. But I thought it was just interesting to know what you do with
Yeah,
yours, because we obviously have different approaches to life, and it'd be nice to know yours.
The other thing is, I don't know if it's interesting. Do you use fabric softener? Because I
No,
don't.
never.
No, I don't use
Never.
fabric softener.
I actually
I
find
do.
the
I do.
smell
I
of
do
it
on a
overwhelming.
blanket. I do on a blanket or something like that. I actually
Yeah.
want to be. So I have some,
Yeah,
but I just don't use it on my clothes. Just.
I would.
I used to, and then someone told me not to, and I actually prefer my clothes. I prefer them without.
I think sometimes they feel a bit slimy. I mean, I think that if you don't put fabric conditioner, then when you very first get something out of the wardrobe, it feels a little bit crisp. I'm not sure what just happened with the video. We're now just carrying on with the phone. I was just saying about fabrics being a little bit crisp when they come out of the when you don't use fabric conditioner.
Yeah.
I can't remember what else we said in the other video we just did. So we'll wrap up.
I actually asked you, I said, what dress are you wearing?
Oh yeah, the dress I'm wearing. So this is a jiffy dress, which is a simplicity pattern. It's become quite a popular go-to pattern actually amongst class. Super easy. I only had 1 metre of fabric, which is why I made this.
Oh, wow.
And I had to do my old favourite, a bias bound facing. This was a piece of linen that my mum got as a remnant. And yeah, like I say, 1 metre, that was all there was. And amazing. I made it to go on honeymoon because I knew we were going to a gelato factory. So there is a silly photo of me wearing very fetching hairnet with an ice cream, looking very pleased with myself. But this, I love this dress, and it just comes out every year when it gets this hot.
I think maybe I'll get that on my summer makes list as well.
Yeah.
So
thank you so much for listening.
Yeah.
And
we'll see you again next time. Thanks so much.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.